I don't think the answer also is in regional sites. There's a technological solution, a scientific solution. What I would do, I would turn Yucca Mountain into a national laboratory. We have the greatest brains, our national labs, scientists. We need to find a way to safely dispose of nuclear waste. There is a technological solution, but while we do that, we shouldn't be giving nuclear power industry all of these advantages in the Senate bills that are coming forth, or subsidies. Oil, coal, and nuclear are getting most of the subsidies. We need an energy revolution in this country to shift from fossil fuels to renewable sources by 50% by the year 2020, 80% reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, a mandate. Right. We need to have 30% of our electricity renewable, and it's going to be also the American people, I'm going to say this honestly, sacrificing a little bit when it comes to appliances, when it comes to being part of an energy efficiency revolution.
Senator Clinton, you went to your alma mater recently, Wellesley College, and you said there that your tenure had prepared you to compete in the all-boys club of presidential politics. At the same time, your campaign has accused this all-boys club surrounding you on stage of piling on with their attacks against you. And then your husband recently came to your defense by saying that these, quote, boys have been getting rough with you. And some have suggested that your campaign, that your husband are exploiting gender as a political issue during this campaign. What's really going on here?
Well, I'm not exploiting anything at all. I'm not playing, as some people say, the gender card here in Las Vegas. I'm just trying to play the winning card. And I understand very well that people are not attacking me because I'm a woman. They're attacking me because I'm ahead. And I understand that, as Harry Truman famously said, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. And I feel very comfortable in the kitchen, and I'm going to, withstand the heat. But, this is really one of the kind of issues that we can laugh about, because it's exciting when you look at this field of candidates. Several of us would never have had a chance to stand here and run for president, a Latino, an African American, a woman, if it hadn't been for the progress of America over my lifetime. And I am thrilled to be running to be the first woman president.
But Senator, if I can just ask you, what did you mean at Wellesley when you referred to the boys club?
Campbell.
Just curious.
Well, it is clear, I think, from women's experiences that from time to time there may be some impediments. And it has been my goal over the course of my lifetime to be part of this great movement of progress that includes all of us, but has particularly been significant to me as a woman. And to be able to aim toward the highest, hardest glass ceiling is history making. Now, I'm not running because I'm a woman. I'm running because I think I'm the best qualified and experienced person to hit the ground running. But it's humbling, it's inspiring. And I have to tell you, as I travel around the country, fathers drive hours to bring their daughters to my events. And so many women in their 90s wait to shake my hand. And they say something like, I'm 95 years old, I was born before women could vote, and I want to live long enough to see a woman in the White House.
Thank you, Senator. We're going to take a quick break, but I want to give all the boys up here a chance to quickly respond, if any of them want to respond. Do any of you believe that Senator Clinton is playing the so-called gender card?
I think, you looking at me?
Yeah.
I think that every single candidate on this stage should be held to exactly the same standard. I do believe, however, that voters need to know that we have choices. There's nothing personal about this. I think there are very good people running in the Democratic Party for president, and we need to have a strong candidate in this presidential race. But I think there are differences between us, and voters are entitled to know what those differences are without it being personal, without it being attack-oriented. I spoke earlier about the difference between corporate Democrats and corporate Republicans and how critical it is for us to give the power and the democracy back to the American people so we can give a better life to our children, as 20 generations before us have done. And my point is, some of us have taken a different approach to that. Senator Clinton defends the system, takes money from lobbyists, does all those things. And my point is simply that people have, no, wait a minute, voters have those choices. Voters have those choices, and they deserve to know that they have those choices and that there are, in fact, differences between us. But I think every one of us should be held to the same standard.
Welcome back. We're on the campus of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, in the Cox Pavilion. All the candidates are now seated. We're going to begin the second half of this presidential debate. Our White House correspondent, Suzanne Malveaux, is here with us. And Suzanne, you have some undecided voters who are ready to ask these presidential candidates some specific questions. Let's begin right now.
Catherine Jackson, I want to start off with you. If you'd stand with your son, please. Catherine, I understand that you're quite concerned about your son, Christopher. You have served 3 tours of duty in Iraq, and you're... Recognize your service. That's for you, Christopher. Your mother, I spoke with her, your mom is so worried that you're going to be called to duty again, but not to be deployed in Iraq, but rather Iran. Do you share her concern?
Yes, I do, and I feel that if we continue on the path we're at, that's where we're going to end up in Iran. And that's not what our troops need. Our troops need to come home now.
Catherine, your question.
I finally got my son home after 3 tours of policing Iraq civil war. Now, members of the Bush administration and neo-conservative members of Congress are beating the drums of war again. My son is still part of the Marine Individual Ready Reserve, and if President Bush starts another unnecessary war, there will be a chance that he'll likely be recalled for war. All of you on the stage have either have formal political power or significant informal power and have the ability to stop the rush to war. Please tell me, how are you going to show us your leadership on this issue now so I can decide who I think would be the best leader for tomorrow?
To Senator Biden, please.
The way to do that, ma'am, is to not ratchet up the winds of war here. We had a vote in the United States Senate on declaring the Quds Force, their special forces, and the Revolutionary Guard to be a terrorist organization. A lot of people voted for that. 70-some voted for it. It's a serious, serious mistake. Because what it does, it was completely counterproductive. What it did was, ma'am, what it did was, it convinced the rest of the Muslim world this is really a war against Islam and not a war in Iraq. And number 2, it caused the price of oil to head to $100 a barrel. We're paying $30 a barrel for what they call a risk premium. And it helped to stabilize the situation both in Afghanistan and Pakistan. So the way to do this is keep quiet, hush up, and do what I told the president personally and what I've said as chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee. If he takes the country to war in Iraq without a vote of Congress, which will not exist, then he should be impeached.
Senator Clinton, you voted for that resolution. You're the only one on the stage who did vote for that resolution. Do you want to respond to Senator Biden?
I wasn't attacking Senator
I know, but she did vote for the resolution. But if you could address this young man and his mother about their fear that because of your vote, he might have to go fight in Iran.
Well, there is no basis for that fear. There is, however, a deep concern that is well justified about this president. That's why what I've tried to do is oppose a rush to war. I started speaking out against it back in February because I was worried about President Bush, working with members of Congress to do exactly what Joe is saying, which is to make it absolutely clear there is no legal authority whatsoever. But what I think is most important is that we have aggressive diplomacy with Iran. I believe that the Bush administration has allowed this situation to worsen and fester because they won't have any diplomatic relations of any sort with Iran. So what I would do is to